So this is going to be our mid-year update for 2023.
Midi.
And we'll give it like why it matters. And you can talk about that. Maybe, Jeff, you talk about how it's such a game changer that you've been doing this for a year. Maybe we'll talk about that. Okay.
We're going to talk about the time that I missed.
No. It's excellence, not perfection. That's okay. All right. Okay. We can bring that up. Maybe I will roll you under the bus. Depends how little.
Boop, boop.
Boom,
Boop, boop.
Then you back up. Boom, boom. And then go forward. Boom, boom. Actually, well, that's a whole nother story, but you would not like that story. Okay, here we go.
No.
5, 4, 3, 2, and go. Hey, Jefi, coming to you here from Chapel Hill in our rainy day. How about what's going on out there?
San Diego, California, and some bizarro weather. June gloom is what June's normally supposed to be, but it's actually quite cold.
So June gloom, which means halfway through the year, which means that's our episode, mid-year updates.
The middies.
And we did our first one of these last year with the same entry. It's funny. I forgot about that. But, why does it matter to do a mid-year update? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think the fact that you really turned me on to the numbers and the fact that I never really grasped the importance of it after 22 years. I mean, I know the numbers and I'd go in every now and then. I'd do it before a listing and yada, yada. But to know them like they're just boom, boom, boom. I'm on a bike ride. Boom, boom, boom. I'm on an appointment. Boom, boom, boom. I'm at the grocery store.
That's right.
It's amazing. So thank you, Ed Billings, for
worries.
making
me
better.
To make you, a boring statistician. I'm happy to do that. So,
dude, it's not boring. It's very cool.
It is cool.
I bring cool to numbers.
Yes, you definitely do. And what's cool about this is that Jefi, she got on board and it's been a full year now. And so now you can report year over year. And a year goes by like that. So it goes really fast. And so now you've got a frame of reference, which gives even more power to the numbers. So just jump on board, start tracking, and then you can be an expert. So what we love to do is call our clients around mid-year and just say, hey, here's what's going on with the market. We're going to update it for our markets, so our listeners in our markets will enjoy that. But if you're outside of our market and listening, listen to the structure of it. This is how you could do a mid-year update. So let's dive in and talk about number of homes sold in our micro markets. And this is kind of crazy. So
go ahead. You go first.
All right, I'll go first. So I track Chapel Hill schools, single family homes. Sales volume, that's the number of homes sold, down 30%. Down 30%, which is huge.
It is. It is huge. And, we're going to talk about this too. It has a lot to do with the amount of homes we have on the market. So it's not like we have a surplus of homes. So this is an interesting piece that a lot of times clients hear in the news and they don't have the perspective. So this would be point number one that I would like to say to the audience is that knowing that you're down, but why you're down is so incredibly important. So with that, I track 2 zip codes in La Mesa or in San Diego, 91941 and 91942. That's my kind of general backyard per se. And we are down 27.82%. So almost 28% this year from last year.
So really kind of tracking the same. So number of homes down. And what can happen, well, I have a little add-on on that, is if you look at the number of homes available to buy, so actives, our 2023 to 2022 in Chapel Hill market, basically the same, 41 versus 44. How about for you? And then I'll give the little add-on.
So I did my months of supply of homes. So I'm at 0.57. So just over half a month of supply. But I also looked at all of San Diego. And last year, May was 1.2 months. This year, May is 1.5 months. So we're really tracking very, very close year over year.
And I'll get to that month's supply in a minute. What I thought was interesting is because I've been tracking these numbers for a while, I could go back and say, well, what was that number in June pre-pandemic? So I went back to 2019, and in June there were 165 homes on the market. That's a 75% decrease. So we just have less on the shelf.
Right.
Which is creating a reduction in units sold. And to get that month's supply, we're at 1.1. So we're kind of tracking in that. And remember, 6 months is equilibrium. You could maybe even say, 5 to 6 months. When you're at a month's supply, you don't have enough product to meet demand, and then prices go up.
That's correct. And just to go back, because I did jump forward there, because I don't have the year over year, but we have 21 active listings. That's 21 in those 2 zip codes. And for San Diego County, they're down 21%. I'm very close to that in my little micro market. And that's year over year of homes available for sale.
So again, we have this talk track where it's like, okay, sales are down, but there's less on the shelf. And it's almost like, well, if you went to the grocery store and normally there's like, say there's 50 cartons of eggs on the shelf, and now there's only 10. Well, you've got less sales happening, but there's more people wanting it, so prices are going up. And that's what we're seeing happen. So we're seeing, I think, in our market, a bigger ramp up because we have more room to grow. Our prices weren't as high, and especially the markets that feed us, the Californias, the New Yorks, the Bostons, the DCs, they think that our prices are pretty reasonable. So that helps drive up our prices. So our median price so far this year, sales price, is up 13%.
Wow.
From 670 to 756. So it's really jumped.
Yeah. So if we want to talk about median sales price for all of San Diego County, is up 0.2%, or excuse me, 2%, not 0.2, but 2. But my La Mesa market is actually down.
Interesting.
5%. I know. Now, this is something that's really important because, and this is what's so beautiful about us talking about our numbers, is you have a very cyclical market. I have a 12-month market. We don't really have ups and downs like you do due to weather. So right now you're in your surge and I'm in my level, right? So again, I'm about 3 months ahead of you almost all the time. So it'd be interesting for you to look at your market in the next 3 months or in 3 months and see if that number matches.
And that's so interesting because when I was in first quarter and kind of singing the blues, you were saying you're going to get real busy in second quarter, and it sure as heck has happened. So, so we do tend to lag, and that's why other realtors out there. It's good to have a broad network where you can talk to people in other markets to kind of get a sense of what's going on and what can be coming your way.
Exactly.
Shall we talk about days on market? I think that's a great stat to look at. So what are you looking at? What are your days on market?
So my sold days on market is 21 days. My active is 29 and my pending is 16. So, all under the 30-day mark.
Did you look back to see what it was last year by any chance?
I didn't, but I can tell you last year, all of San Diego was 20 days and now average is 30 days.
Okay, so it's gone up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's to be expected. We've seen that happen. I think that primarily has to do with some sellers overreaching on their initial price, and that probably was driven in the first and second quarters.
This is a really interesting stat that I follow. I follow price reductions per week. And I have had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks with none. And then this last week, 4. So I know that that's a really tight time frame, and I'm only looking at that weekly number, but that's a lot to jump
Yeah.
from having 0. So that does mean people are overreaching, which tells me we need to be having those conversations when we sit down with our sellers before we list. Look, do not push the envelope too far. You're going to suffer the cost of being on the market a really long time.
That is so true. And, my numbers are tracking similar to yours. This year for solds has been 22 days on market. Last year for this time frame, year over year, it was 14. So it's jumped. It jumped to about 33%, roughly, I think that is. So, we run into that situation where I think people are overreaching a little bit on price. And remember, days on market, especially when you're dealing in a micro market like this, can be a little deceiving, because if you've got one seller that's hanging on for a year, that's 365 days, right? And when you're only dealing with the base of 25 homes on the market, it can really throw things off. So you have to be careful. You have to look inside the data a little bit on that. You always hear average days on market, so that's why we use average. You hear median home price. That's kind of the accepted practice. But, that's why they go to median, is they don't want this outlier that throws the number way off. So,
Yep.
So that's what you got. A little inside baseball on how numbers work, huh?
Yeah. Hey, I want to bring up one number that we didn't talk about, or maybe we did and I've already forgotten because I'm a goldfish. What reference? What show is that from?
Ted Lasso.
There we go. Okay. So right now, my micro market is 27% down in sales. So the number of units sold, 27% down. And we talk about this a lot. Like we say, oh, realtors are suffering, or, whatever. And I don't even want to look at it that way, because I feel like when you go out there and you do the work, my numbers might not be 27% down. Somebody else's numbers might be 50% down. But what it really tells me is that everything that you do in your job right now needs to be incredibly intentional, because you are not turning and burning. You are long haul running, which is what we do anyway through Buffini. We have that mindset, which is beautiful. But for the general public, that might not be their mindset. So this is where you tune into your relationships. This is where you have your parties. This is where you celebrate your people, because you do have this little down cycle going on right now to really love on people. And I think that if there is one thing, all the numbers are numbers. You can pull your numbers any way you want, but being down 27% in sales means you have time to really love on your clients. So you should go do that.
That's right. Do the events, reach out, talk to people, and just do the fundamentals, which is the mailers. And I have a little story about that. So my most recent listing, repeat client, it was, listed at, over $1 million. So it's a good, in our market, that's doing something. That's a good sale.
Right.
And they were able to get the home on the market in a week. It was just perfectly maintained. And when I was going through with the photographer, everything's pristine, everything's staged all the way through. And on their bulletin board, there was only one thing on their bulletin board. I sent you the picture, and it was an insert from my monthly mailer spring a year ago with my favorite vendors. And it was boom right there. And I'm thinking, that stuff works. And, I drop by and visit with them. I do pop-bys. I invite them to my events. I stay in contact. And so, you do those little fundamental things. And sometimes we think, who's reading this stuff, right? They're reading it. And so you just got to remember that.
Love on your clients.
That's exactly right. Do you have any other pearls of wisdom that you want to throw out, since you're a new convert to the numbers?
Well, I think that it just changed my game learning this. So I really appreciate it, Ed. That's a really big deal.
Well, my pleasure. And it is a game changer. It changes the narrative. And I'm glad that you get a chance to do that. And everyone else, you got to jump on board. That's it for today, y'all. Talk to you later.
All right, everybody. Bye.